You were arrested on suspicion of racially abusing a police officer in Birmingham. What actually happened?
First of all, that actual arrest, I say, is unlawful and I will be taking action against the police. The officers must have reasonable suspicion that I committed an offense. What they did was they arrested me because, first of all, the live stream was run off my account with me clearly not holding the phone. They sort of eliminated me from the inquiries already. So the live stream was on my name, and somebody made slurs in the public to the police officer. The narration of the video itself, the police officer who narrated the video, when I got to the police station, had to show me the video. The narration actually states it's not me saying anything, and I'm not even in the frame. It's someone with a face covering saying these things.
Okay.
So they had already eliminated me from the inquiries. That's why I'm saying the arrest was unlawful and the arrest was more of a performative arrest than them trying to stop any criminal activity from taking place.
So what we're saying is you believe that they targeted you.
Of course, they targeted me. They targeted me because of what I stand for. They targeted me. And I tell you, I've got proof of the targeting as well. So you probably saw Birmingham Live's video last week.
Yes.
When I went to Bourneville police station.
Yes.
That was in relation to burning the Israeli flag. Now, the police, they wanted to speak to me about that. That happened at a different protest.
Yeah.
They wanted to speak to me about that. And what they did was they turned up at my home address, no problem, 2 officers, no arrest warrant, nothing like that. They just said, we need to speak to you. I was in a home. My family called me. My son called me, and I said, "Yes, I'll come in tomorrow." And I gave them a time and date that I'm going to come in, which was tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Before I went to Bourneville Lane Police Station last week, I went to a protest in Birmingham City Centre at Victoria Square. There's a protest there every week from the Iranians, the Zionist Iranians who are against their own country, who celebrate their own country's people getting bombed for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
So they are there, and I went to attend a counter protest there just before I was about to go to the police station. Now, as soon as I got to that protest, police officers come running towards me and they said, "You're wanted." I said, "No, I'm not wanted." I phoned up the police officer who was in charge. He didn't answer, but then there was a message from that police officer saying that I was going to come in at 2 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, "It's not even 1 o'clock. So why have you guys come running towards me?" I've
So that
arranged.
that was the same day you was due to go to the police station.
Same day.
Okay.
So I said, "I've still got an hour. I'm going to stay here for an hour. Then I'm going to go in. There's no warrant for my arrest. I've already arranged to go in voluntarily. So there's no warrant for my arrest. So you can't arrest me. I'm going to stay here till 2 o'clock, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to the police station." And then you saw what happened after. When I went to the police station last week, Bourneville Lane Police Station, I went there and I told them, when they told me they want to arrest me about that flag burning, and they said it's a racially or religiously aggravated public order offense, I said, "No, it's not, because that flag doesn't represent a religion nor a race."
Yes, yes, yes.
So they agreed with me that's not an aggravated offense. They actually agreed with me. They said it's still a public order offense. I said, "Still, it does not amount to an interview because I'm just standing there." So I gave them a statement and I walked out. I refused to get interviewed. So they had my details from then. This is what I'm trying to say. People don't know this. So they had my details from then. So then what happened is another protest took place on the 10th of March. On the 10th of March, I live streamed these protests. So more people watch and more people turn up and support us to counter protest. So I always live stream them. And I don't always have my phone on me. It's not my phone doing the live stream. It would be a staff member's phone. So they are live streaming something and I'm there in the protest speaking or whatnot, doing whatever I'm doing. I'd never cover my face at protest and everyone knows that. And somebody has made some slurs, racial slurs against a police officer, which I condemn badly. Now, we don't know who that is, someone with a face covering, and that's that police officer actually saying it, that it was someone with a face covering doing it. So they've already eliminated me from the inquiry. So that happened on the 10th. I got arrested on the 18th, just a few days ago, last Thursday. I got arrested at that protest. The first of all, When a police officer looks at that and says, that's not Akhmed Yakoob, it's like you recording something and you getting arrested for it.
Yeah.
Exactly that scenario. So a police officer could have looked at that and said, that's not his voice and he's not in the video.
So was you saying this to them in the video? So the video that we saw online, is this what you're saying to them? We can see that obviously that you're having a conversation with the police officers. You know what?
I'm trying to say that to them. I'm saying, what you on about? Tell me like exactly what happened.
Yeah.
They didn't let me talk. So as soon as I got to the police, they started the protest. They arrested me. So they had 8 days in which to make the inquiries. They could have come and seen me like they did last time, and I could have gone to the police station and explained myself.
Yeah.
They didn't have to wait 8 days to arrest me. They probably wanted to speak to me as a witness. So the proof of the targeting, when I went for the flag burning, the police officer who wanted to interview me, when I refused to get interviewed, she said the sergeant wanted you arrested at this protest. So why? Anyway, so now I know. Then when I got to the station for this offense, it was the same sergeant. So he wanted to get me arrested in public to show, yes, we arrested him. But it's not like they can silence me or anything. As soon as I come out the police station, I made a video. So I'm going to take action against them now.
So do you feel that you was treated differently because of who you are as a high profile figure?
Exactly, because of 100%. 100%. And there's higher powers involved. And these police force, they are listening to people who are bound by the Zionist regime, who we were counter protesting against.
If anyone else did this, a member of the public, let's say, do you think there would be the same, you know, they'd be treated the same? Do you think it would be the same situation?
Of course not. And a perfect example of that, my colleague Shakil Afsa got a death threat in one of these protests. He identified the actual individual who gave him the death threat. He has given West Midlands Police videos of those death threats.
And
the guy made gestures like this. And he hasn't been picked up, nor hasn't been interviewed. He's not in the media. We haven't seen nothing.
where does this stop?
I think they want to silence me. They don't want me to protest. They don't want me to get people out to go to protest because I am becoming influential. I'm becoming a voice. And I say things that a lot of people want to say, but they just don't say them because of what others might think or what might happen to them. Because we know most of the authorities, someone who is a Zionist will be involved in every single authority around us. And people want to say these kind of things, but they don't say. And I turn up and I say these things and I say them in public because there's nothing wrong with what I'm saying. It's the truth.
Would you say that you push the boundaries too far, or
No.
are you're just saying what other people are scared to say, so to speak?
I am exactly that. I am saying things that other people, okay, I don't want to disrespect people and say they're scared to say, but they are, limited in their resources. They are somehow, working in office jobs. They're working in public, whatever they're doing. Like I said, there's a lot of control by the Zionist regime to silence people. And they've done it to me so many times. My TikToks have been banned. My Instagram has been banned. It's ridiculous that people are trying to use their powers and bully people. And I don't like that tactic. I'm a lawyer. At the end of the day, you can't be someone who is in a position of power and abuse that power and try to get people arrested unlawfully. It doesn't work that way, especially in a democratic country like the UK. And we know the law. We know when police cross the line. We're not, of course, I'm not disrespecting anyone, but I'm not a normal person off the streets. I do know the law. That's what people, fail to realize. Sometimes they think that I'm just a protester or I'm just an activist. I'm a lawyer. I'm a successful lawyer. Maurice Andrew Solicitors. I've been practicing now I've had this firm for almost 10 years, and it grew from a small firm in Handsworth to a firm that is recognized all over the country now. And that's for a reason. We're good at our work. I know the law, and I will never let you bully me like this. There will be action and there will be repercussions for your actions, legal repercussions. I say things, and some people may not agree with certain things I say, but deep down they know I'm telling the truth.
So you nearly caused one of the biggest upsets in UK political history in Ladywood. Do you think these recent legal issues are an attempt by the establishment to ensure you never run for office again?
Look, I am a threat. I'm a threat to the establishment. And like you said, I brought down the Home Secretary's majority from the last election, 2019, 28,000 to 3,000 now. So now, what was one of the safest seats in the country has become an unsafe seat because of Ahmed Yakoob. I've not only done that, I've got a wave of independent candidates standing all along Birmingham, and that wave has gone now all throughout the country, and people are standing as independent candidates. And I started this in my first election in the West Midlands mayoral election. First time ever an independent candidate received 69,000 votes in a election so big. No one's ever seen this sort of political movement ever in the United Kingdom. And I'm not just boasting, it's the truth, it's the facts, and you can see. So when that happened, that's when they woke up to how big of a threat I am. Not because I am a dangerous individual or anything, because I speak the truth, and the majority of the people, they want to say what I say, but they can't because of their circumstances. And there are a lot of higher powers involved in what I am going to right now. It's not just these cases. I have another case. You're probably aware of it. When I got charged last year for that, and the proceedings are going to be in Southern Crown Court. And again, it's a state-created crime. They have tried to, which they had 5 years to do what they do, but they only did it after the election. So at the end of the day, people now are starting to realize that I am being targeted, which is what I wanted to do. So now people know that someone who's going to speak up is going to be targeted. And the youth are listening to me now. The youth are listening to me, and there'll be a lot more people who are going to come forward and won't be afraid. They'll say, yes, if he can do it, we can do it. And there will be a lot more people speaking up all over the country.
So you've built a brand on being the voice of the voiceless in Birmingham. If you were convicted of any of these recent allegations, do you think you lose moral authority to lead those people?
No, because people know that I am being targeted by the state, I am being targeted by the higher powers, and I'm being targeted by people who are controlled by the Zionist regime, and then in turn, people who are controlled by the Epstein class. So people with a moral compass will know that I'm not doing anything wrong, and I'm just being targeted by people of no class, people of the Epstein class. So the right will always side with me.
What do you think of Raise the Colours?
Well, raise the colors. I love England. That's one thing I want to put that on record. I love the UK. I love England. If I didn't like the UK, I've got plenty of money to go and live anywhere I want in the world. Alhamdulillah, God has blessed me beyond imagination. I'm a successful lawyer, like I said earlier, and my practice is amongst the most successful practices in the whole of UK. And I'm not saying it, that's facts. I'm not just making it up, that's facts. So I love the UK and I love the UK flag. But the problem with Raise the Colours is their sort of whole movement and whole campaign has been hijacked by far right extremists like Nigel Farage, like Tommy Robinson, and there's many others. So they've hijacked that movement. So that movement is not only about, loving England, it's about hating others. Now, any movement that is about hating others will get condemned. Now, that's what's happened. They've lost track of what's happening.
I'm sure one of your colleagues was called out for a charity boxing match. Is that something that you would ever think about?
Well, look, I think Shaquille went there when these guys were raising some flags in
Mosley.
Mosley,
Oh, yeah.
Ryan Bridges, and a few others. Shaquille went there and confronted them. And they sort of agreed with Shaquille that, look, the movement is being hijacked by the far right extremists. They agreed with him. So, and I think a comment was made there that Ryan wanted to fight Shahid. But that's on. And me, I've openly called out Tommy Robinson before because he's been chatting so much on the internet about me. I'm not one to chat. You get it? It's not my like like that kind of chat. I don't like it. If I want to call someone, I'll call out politicians, establishment, stuff like that. And I know I will never swear at someone and use derogatory words. That's not my style. But if Tommy wants to fight, of course, why not? I'll fight him. I'll fight Tommy Robinson.